loud. And it's live, right?
I mean, by live, it's recording.
Okay. So if someone wants to join, they could see us
They
having
could,
this conversation right now.
yes.
Hi.
But
Hi.
it's not like live on social media or anything, if that's what you meant.
Oh, okay.
That is that what you meant?
I just meant live as in, yeah, if somebody joined, they would see like we're on, right?
Okay,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
cool. That's all I wanted to verify.
But the only thing is I hope they can just join without
Being let in.
yeah. Yeah, that's the thing. But I'll control that. If someone comes in, I'll just all right.
Yeah. Okay. You ready?
Go ahead.
Hey everyone. Hi, my name is Damian Shillingford.
Hi, I'm Melissa Shillingford.
And yeah, we love to invite you guys to our stress-free home buying in the Hudson Valley webinar. So yeah, today we're going to talk about buying your first home, taking those steps to making that purchase. You've probably been talking about it, planning it with
Hmm.
your significant other for a while now, zooming through Zillow,
Yeah. Yep.
the low fee, looking at all the
Yep.
houses, all right?
Yeah, so we're really excited to like just share a bit about our journey, but
Mhm.
also like what did we learn about our journey to help ease your journey,
Right,
right? And
right. We
so
went through it. It has its ups and downs.
the
So
struggle was real.
yeah,
And so because we went through the struggle, we don't want y'all to go through the struggle.
yeah,
So
yeah.
it's really just sharing like what were some of our lessons learned and also like how to get you started in this journey. So let's
Yep.
get
Let's
started.
go. Let's go. So yeah, a little bit about us. So again, yes, I'm Damian Schoenford. I am a licensed real estate agent with eXp Realty.
Hmm.
I've been in the business for almost 30 years now. It's a long time. I started when I was real young. But yeah, I did not actually, or we did not actually buy our first home until 5 years ago.
Yeah.
So Melissa and I, we lived in the Bronx. We started in a one-bedroom pre-war building. We had our son, so of course we needed more space. We moved to a two-bedroom, two-bath.
Hmm.
We had our second child, and we were still living there. And I thought we were good. You know, we had a two-bedroom, two-bath. We had a doorman.
That's
We had
nice.
laundry. Had gym,
Yeah.
parking,
All on the
right?
same floor.
Yep,
Yeah.
all on the same floor. So I thought we was, we were killing it. 980 square feet. That square footage became real small during COVID.
Real quick.
Yeah, yeah. So that's when things definitely had to change, and we started looking a little bit more seriously into home buying. And I was licensed at the time,
Hmm.
but I was working under a lot of preconceived notions that were just
Hmm.
incorrect. I was in the New York City market, so it's a different clientele, different type of buyer in like Manhattan and Brooklyn. So, when Melissa came to me and said, "Listen, hun, we need to get a home. We need to get a home," and I was working under the preconceived notions I had the education I received. I was like, hun, 20% down for a house, we're not doing it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Like at 20%, I was like, oh my goodness, like it's gonna
Yeah.
take forever just to like get the average of a like $300,000 home, right? I was
No,
like, it was just
it
it
didn't
didn't
seem
seem
realistic.
realistic.
Yeah.
So, but it wasn't until like I really was so frustrated and annoyed because I remember we used to take these trips to the Hudson Valley all the time. And I'm
Mhm.
like, there's homes everywhere, there's houses everywhere. You can't tell me every single person put down 20% down. Like, there's no
The
way.
math was
Like, the
mathing, right?
math wasn't mathing.
Yeah.
And so I was so really just inspired by what was out there. And I was like, you know what? There I've got to look into this, right? And I
Yeah.
remember
Yeah.
this one night I couldn't sleep. I'm tossing and turning, and I was like, all right, let me just Google like how, like, how can, what does it take for you to get a first of a home, right?
Yeah.
If you
Yeah.
live in the
Basic
Bronx,
stuff. Yeah.
basic stuff. And I remember seeing this article where this guy named Efren, he's a real estate agent, and he was
Mhm.
like, oh, I just helped this client close on this home. They only put down, I don't know, $15,000 and they're only paying like, I don't know, whatever the amount was monthly, it was
Mhm.
less than what we were paying for
A two
our
bedroom, two
rent.
bath
Right.
apartment. I'm like, they got a whole house.
Right. And I was like,
Yeah.
friend, stop lying. And I sent him that message at night. And I was
Yep.
like, make it make sense for me. And so he sent me the message and we were messaging like each other all night. And I was like, wow, so you don't have to put 20% down. You can put something down as low as 3%. I'm curious. I'm leaning in.
Yeah. Give
So
me the
now,
teeth.
yeah, I was like, spill the tea. I want all the information. So I couldn't wait for Damien to like wake up First time, as soon as he got out, I was like, "Hon, I gotta tell you, I've been chatting with this dude all night on
I was like,
Facebook."
what dude? Wait, hold up. Nah. Yeah, yeah.
Like, I was like, he's a really great real estate agent. I
Yeah.
really want you to get to know him, but also like the excitement was that this was now our opportunity.
Yeah, we could do it.
That yeah,
Yeah.
it felt real. Like,
Yeah.
oh my gosh, we can
Hmm.
actually own a home. And
Yes.
so
Yes.
it was that first step, it was that knowledge, but just knowing that I didn't have to go that high,
Hmm.
but now it was realistic for us. And I was like, all
Yes.
right,
Yes.
let's have that
And I
conversation.
kind of feel like we can't be the only people who had that
Yeah,
misinformation, let's say, because I
exactly.
remember talking to other people within my community at the time, and they had the same info. That's what
Yeah,
they said. I would ask folks I knew who own homes, and they really didn't give me much information about,
that part.
how to get a home,
That part. The lack of
So the lack of
transparency. And it was
transparency,
like,
yeah.
and I was like, that's what I loved about, the e-friend too,
Mm,
right? And just
yes,
hearing
yes.
from, it's so important to hear from someone and to work with someone
Hmm.
who is going to lay it all out, like give you the good, the bad, and the ugly.
Yeah.
And so, and so to hear like everything, that transparency was so, so
And
important.
also how empowering that is, right? Because once you have
Yes.
the knowledge, once you know you can do it, you get over that first hump, right? I mean,
Hmm.
everyone has that fear of starting. It's something new. I mean, buying a home, right? That's the biggest purchase I think most people are ever going to make in their lives. It's a
Yeah.
lot of money. Sometimes you're dipping into your savings for this.
Yeah.
You got to put that money on the table. And if you're going to make those big decisions, you need to be well informed. Yo, where is this dollar going?
Yeah.
If I'm going to put this stack, which I've been saving for half of my life,
Yeah.
in your hands, I need to know what's going to happen. You
Absolutely.
cannot have any questions going into it. You want to
Absolutely.
understand everything.
Absolutely. Absolutely. But it's so worth it.
It's so
It's so
worth
worth
it.
it.
Yeah. So yeah, so what we're going to cover today. So we're going to keep this nice and simple. You can see we only have 3 points here. Now to be clear, yes, there are more nuanced steps to buying a home. There are going to be some additional things that happen in between these three sections here, but this is where I feel the average person gets stuck. This is where I feel a lot of people, they don't even get started because of the information that they're working with being
Hmm.
inaccurate, right?
Hmm.
The first step, getting pre-approved. I mean, right here, this was the simplest step, but it was something that we weren't even aware that we needed to do.
Hmm.
So getting pre-approved means going to a bank, talking to a lender, and getting that letter that's going to give you some very important information about the type of house you're going to buy, what you can afford, and
Hmm.
just if the bank is going to loan you the money or not to make sure you're in the right position to buy. Number two, the different types of loans. And again, the bank is going to hold your hand and talk to you about this, but it's important for you to also understand what your options are. Because I feel that this was a real breakthrough for us. That
Yeah.
this is the information we received that even told us we had a chance.
Yeah.
So those two different loans are important to understand, especially the one that's going to help you as a new first-time home buyer. That's going to be the FHA loan. So we'll talk about that real quick. And then the third part, how to select an agent. And
Yeah.
again, what we've selected based on our experience were these three key things that's going to really give you the clarity, and
Hmm.
it's going to empower you to move forward and really take those steps to seriously becoming a new homeowner. And having the right agent to support you, to educate you, to help you is very key in that process.
Absolutely. And of course, there are way more steps to this. There's levels to
Yes.
this,
Yes,
right?
it is. Yes.
But we don't have that much time,
Yeah,
right? We
no.
don't have that much time.
Mhm.
But at the same time, you are making yourself available
That's
to
right.
provide, more information and to help those who are more curious about like, well, how do I begin and what do I do? So I'm just also want to just share like Damien's information is right in the bottom
Yep.
because like we really want to make sure that you have the information that you need to get started and that you've connected with someone who really is an amazing agent as well. And we'll
Yeah,
talk
and I'm
more
here to
about,
yeah, yeah, and I'm here
yeah,
to help you. No stupid questions. I'm at
yes,
school, so
and
yeah,
very transparent,
and
like
very transparent.
as
Yeah. So,
well.
so let's keep
Yes.
going.
Yes. That pre-approval process.
Yeah, yeah. It could make you feel a little insecure,
Yep.
because you're talking about your finances, which, unfortunately, it's not something that people are always very open about,
Yeah.
even with couples. I mean,
Yeah.
even before we even got to that, just a little side note, we had to take a lot of work between ourselves to open up that communication.
Yeah.
Because if you're doing it together, or if you're in a situation where it's you and your significant other, this is something you want to be open about because that
Hmm.
information is really needed to get a better idea if you're going to get approved or not.
Right.
So when it comes to getting the pre-approval, so the first step is going to a bank or a lender. So the bank or the lender, these are the people who are they're going to give you that money that you
Hmm.
need to actually purchase, let's say, that $300,000 house. All right.
Hmm.
You're not taking $300,000 and giving it to them. I mean, if you have it like that, God bless. But I think a lot of us are on the other side of that where we only have a little bit of that. We don't have
Yeah.
the whole
A
thing,
portion of it.
a
Yeah.
portion of that. Yeah. So the pre-approval is going to let you know if you're qualified to get the loan. All right. So you're going to go to a bank or a lender. I would suggest going to a bank that you have a relationship with, whoever, gets your direct deposit for your job, Chase, whatever. That's the best place to start. A note with that though, just be mindful that you don't just go with the first pre-approval you get, or you don't have to go with your bank. There are other options that you could go through, other channels to trying to get an idea if you're approved for a home. But basically, what you want to find out from the bank is, are you qualified for a loan, right? And how much are you going to get, right?
Hmm.
So this serves two purposes. It lets you know, first of all, where you are in the game. Okay, do you
Hmm.
have the credit score, right? Or do you have the right debt to income
Hmm.
ratio? These are the main things they're going to look at. They want to know how much income you have, what your debts are, and then they want to get a sense of what your credit score is. And all these things are adjustable. The next thing, if all that goes well, and they give you the pre-approval, they're going to give you a number. Let's say they'll say, okay, based on your credit score, based on your debt to income ratio, as the bank or the lender, we feel comfortable giving you a loan up to
Hmm.
$400,000. So that means that's the price point you're going to be looking at when you're searching homes. So
Hmm.
that's great because now that gives you an exact idea of the home you're actually looking at. So you're no longer on Zillow looking at the mansions like, girl, you know what I'm saying? Look at
Right.
this one. Da, da, da.
One day, one
One day,
day.
right? But now you know exactly what you can afford. All right. And that's
Yeah.
going to help you kind of start making a plan and getting more direct information. Um, so a couple things with that. So I feel, in my opinion, what
Hmm.
kind of stops people is they have that insecurity, right? About, well,
Hmm.
my credit score is not the best, or
Hmm.
we're single income, or I
Yeah.
don't feel I have that much savings. Do not let that stop you.
Yeah.
Okay. I think when it came to us doing that, I had a lot of those
Yeah.
insecurities, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Don't count yourself out, right?
Yeah.
Like let the bank tell you what you can qualify for, what you need to work on. It's almost like going to the doctor for a physical, right?
That's a good way to put it. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
like I that came to mind only because I went to the doctor just last week.
That works, though.
Works, right?
Yeah,
And so now you're like, oh, I need to eat more fiber, like this is what I need to do in order for me to become more healthy, right?
hmm hmm
And so like think of it that way. Like you're getting a prognosis, you're getting a checkup to see like what do you qualify for?
Checking your financial fitness,
Ooh,
right? All right, that's
okay.
that's copyrighted. Okay, be careful.
I like that.
Like, all
But
right.
yeah, that's pretty much what it is. It's like just getting a sense of what you qualify for, but don't make that assumption, right? Because
hmm
we can easily count ourselves out and make
Yes.
that story or tell ourselves the narrative, oh, we don't qualify because
hmm
we don't have this amount of money in our bank account. Oh, I don't qualify because I don't have this credit score. And
hmm
best believe, even when we thought we weren't qualified for like, one of our homes, we're like, oh, we could do it. Okay, like
Yeah.
why
And
not?
we let the bank tell
And we
us.
let the bank tell us. So
Yeah.
let them tell you.
Yeah. And another important point to that is don't feel like you have to kind of perform for the
Oh
bank.
yeah.
This is
Yeah.
very important to understand because I feel once we got that sense, it also gave us, and I think it'll give new home buyers as well, that confidence, right? The lenders and the bank,
Hmm.
they actually want you to get a loan.
Yeah.
They really do, because this is how they make money. This is their business. So if you come to them and you're not qualified when you sit down in that chair or you submit that application online,
Hmm.
and this is why I recommend maybe calling or going into the bank because they're going to actually work with you. They're going to
Yeah.
say, all right, listen, Jane and John, this is your credit score. This is your income. You guys don't qualify, but you can get qualified if you take these following
Yeah.
steps. They're literally going to give you a playbook on how to fix your credit, what debts you need to pay off. And
Hmm.
it's usually not anything crazy, right, hon? I mean, in some
Yeah.
cases, they'll probably say, you know what, pay $1,000 on
Yeah.
this card, pay $500 on that card, and then come back to us next month,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah, and I just don't want folks to count themselves out. Like
That's
that's
the
it's just
important thing.
like just get tested. Like
Get tested.
just get
Just do
financially
it.
tested.
Yeah,
Just
and
do
there's
it.
no commitment.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
like it is important for you to go to the bank, but they've also made it easily accessible for you to do it via online now,
Hmm.
right? So
Hmm.
like they have the pre-approval applications online where you can do it. You can also call them and then they'll call you back and just walk you through it. But yeah, it's there's no excuse to not take that first step to
And
get
that's what
pre-approved.
I guess that's the message we want to get
Yeah.
across to you. Most important, don't count yourself out. Don't lose before you even start the race.
Yeah.
And again, once you get that pre-approval, it doesn't mean okay, now we have to buy a house.
Right.
Don't
Yeah.
move with that sense of
Yeah,
urgency. And
yeah.
trust, Melissa will speak on that a little more because that's very important. But just know that it's the first step. Once you have that plan, once you know what you can afford, um, it's easier then.
Yeah.
It's easier to then move forward into
Yeah.
the
Because now
process.
you're making an informed decision.
Right.
So let's talk about what typically happens at this stage, right? Like,
Mhm.
let's face it, buying that first home is pretty scary, right? It is a huge investment into your future. You want to make sure that the dollars that you have worked hard for is going towards something.
Mhm.
But guess what? That something is your bigger purpose. So really center like why is it important for you to have this home? For me, for example, my why was that I needed that space for us to to be free, right? For I wanted a yard for our kids to like just play and I could just say, "All right, kids from out the window, come on in," where they can feel
Which she does.
where they can play safely. And like I wanted my own space because, like I said, like during COVID, we just felt
Mhm.
like we were piling up on each other, and
Yeah,
I
it was
was
difficult.
really feeling like I became very bitter and angry, and I was just like
Yeah,
going on long walks. I just didn't feel
it
like
was all of
I
us.
didn't want to
Yeah.
be at home anymore.
Kids don't have places to play. We couldn't go to the
Right.
parks. They were
Right.
a mess. Yeah.
Yeah. And there's a lot of stress that I was experiencing. And you can
Mhm.
talk more about what you experienced. What was your why?
I mean, my why, at first, I mean, once I realized we could actually do it,
Mm-hmm.
it was very solidified for me. It
Mm-hmm.
came down to something that's a theme in my life, which is legacy. And
Mm-hmm.
I said to myself, oh my God, I'm literally one step from the American dream because I
Mm-hmm.
found my soulmate,
Mm-hmm.
right? I have my two beautiful children. We're like the nuclear family. What's missing in this for me to
Mm-hmm.
achieve the American dream that was promised to me in this
Yeah.
country? And it was buying a home. And for a long time, I always thought I was just be gonna live my whole life in New York. Grew up in Queens, lived in Harlem. Now I'm living in the Bronx, and that's it. Next place probably
Yeah.
Brooklyn, just to try it out.
Yeah.
I didn't think I would be in a position, or we would be in a position to own a home. And then
Yeah.
once we found out that we could, there was no stopping us after
Yeah.
that. I was like, oh my God, we're right there. We're right there to
Yeah.
achieve that dream. So, like Melissa said, and this is something she always says, and why, it's nice if you could have that strong support and partnership for each other. You know, you need that big why. You need
Yeah.
because there are going to be times that it's going to be difficult in your home search, and you could speak on that because the times
Yeah.
that we went into deals, we kind of panicked and then we pulled out. We did that.
Yeah.
It happens.
It did.
Yeah.
Yeah. And there's so much to this, right? Like the first step is definitely the scariest because you're not familiar with that process. This is something new to you, to your brain. And so your brain is like trying to protect itself, like, whoa, 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 what are you doing here? And so it's going to like really hold you back from doing something that is different and new to you. But you got to really trust the process, take that leap of faith. And I don't want to say the only way, but like what really helps in that process is working along someone that is not only qualified, you're going to find a lot like real estate agents come a dime a dozen, right?
Mhm.
But it's really finding someone that you trust, that is truly transparent, that you can really ask questions and call on, and they're like, hold your hand, and you really can, like that they have your back,
Yes.
right? So like,
Yes.
it kind of reminds me of like those experiential like like when you're in the woods and like someone's doing that exercise when someone falls back and
Oh,
you hold it on
yeah,
yeah, you
I know
really
you're talking. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
And that's this is you, but this is also your real estate agent, someone who always has your back in that process,
yeah.
right?
It's important.
And really, really patient. So you're gonna get scared, fear's gonna come in, but you gotta do it scared.
Yeah, and you need that why for that.
Mhm. Yep,
Stick to that why.
absolutely.
All right, so yeah, so this part here is about the different loans. So these are tied into your pre-approval. The bank will go over this with you, but it's just good to understand
Hmm.
the differences and why you should not count yourself out. And as we learn, you do have a chance because the government has these programs here to help you. So the first one would be the FHA loan. So this loan is the loan that you're going to be aiming for if you're not so well positioned, let's say with the savings, debt to income, the credit is not the best. You still have a chance. And on top of that, which I'm not going to go into here because there's so much details, there are even more programs available to help
Hmm.
you buy a home, you know. So one of the key factors with the FHA, you lower down payment. So that's where that 3.5% comes in. And I believe that's as low as it could go as far as putting
Hmm.
money down, right? With an FHA. I mean, that's huge. That opens the door and the opportunities for so many people who might not have the opportunity to buy a home and who can't put 20 or 10% down. So that's a huge benefit there. With the FHA, they're also more flexible with the requirements. So if your credit score is not the best, let's say it's under 700, maybe 650 or so, 660. I think when we first got approved, we were around the 660
Hmm.
range. FHA is a great option for you because they're going to be more flexible there. You do incur what they call the mortgage insurance, though. So FHA is government backed. So you're not getting the loan from the government. What the government is doing is they're insuring the loan for the lender, which is the bank or the private lender. So it gives them that security to then give out home loans to I guess participants who might not be the best qualified. They're gonna give you a chance. This is to get your foot in the door. So they're gonna cover the bank. So you're gonna get these benefits. Now, the difference from the FHA to the conventional is pretty straightforward. Conventional, they typically expect you to put 20 to 10% down. Um, there is no mortgage insurance unless you go a little lower than that. You could incur a PMI, the private mortgage insurance. But for the most part, you're going to go into it with a good credit score, good debt to income ratio, maybe good income, and you could, qualify for a conventional loan. But again, specifically for new home buyers who might be in a situation like we were, not sure if you're able to do this, I
Yeah.
would start with the
Yeah,
FHA.
and the thing with the FHA is like you can only use it for your first home,
That's right. It's
right?
specifically
Yeah, the
for, yeah,
conventional you can always use it like if you want to get a second, a third home, or if you want to end up moving.
yeah,
But the FHA is specifically for your first home. And the
yeah.
other thing I want to also clarify is that when you say home, it can be a condo, it can be a
Oh,
townhome,
right. Yes,
right?
that's so
Like there are
true.
different
Yeah. Yeah.
homes
We don't want you to
type.
be too narrow with
Yeah, in
that.
terms of
Yeah. Mhm.
so I just wanted to also highlight that as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah.
And so we had talked about like what are the qualities of a good agent, right?
Mhm.
And I would say that although like I was so fortunate to have found Ephraim,
Yeah.
I did like explore other agents as well,
I
right?
mean,
I
yeah. I mean, when
pursued
you go
other
in
agents.
Zillow, you get different calls. You might click to ask questions. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so like some of the agents that we had we had worked with, I mean, they pushed me or try to get me to pay over asking. There was
Yeah.
that false sense of
The
urgency.
urgency,
It's like, oh,
very
you gotta get it
pushy.
now, gotta get
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
And it was like it was not authentic, like didn't even ask me like what am I looking for in a home? Like they were not
Yeah.
curious
There was a
about
lot of agents we met didn't even care.
they really didn't care.
Like, you want it, you don't want
Right. Like, do
it.
you want
You
it?
had to give your highest and
Right.
best. Like, do I though? Look at
Right.
the roof. Like, can we talk about this? It's weird.
It was so like when I asked them questions, they weren't available to answer or just they didn't have the answer.
Yeah.
It was really stressful. And then I was like, you know what? Let me go back to my to Ephraim, right?
Hmm.
Because what I loved about him and what I look for in anyone that I work with is solely, really someone who leads with a good heart, someone who is informative, someone who has my back,
Hmm.
has my best interest. And with Ephraim, he wasn't trying to get me to like go above and asking, right? Like
Hmm.
he was like, go at asking, or hey, this is how you can carve out. This is why
Yeah,
you should go
yeah.
lower. This is why you should go low. I was like,
And give us
really?
like points on how to like really negotiate.
Right. And how
Yeah.
to create a nice
And it
package.
was so obvious that this
Yeah.
man was trying to get us a good deal.
Right. But I think
Yeah.
kind of like with you as an agent, this is why, and like you have all of these qualities, and then we'll talk more about like why these qualities are really good. But I like with your 25 years of experience in working with portfolios of the affordable housing, being
Yeah.
a porter, like
Yeah, I've done it all.
you've done
Porter,
it all.
doorman. Yeah, I worked in management. I worked in leasing. Yeah, I did sales in Brooklyn. I did rentals
Right.
in the city.
But I always
Yeah.
feel like you always pay extra time and attention to the people that you work with,
Yeah.
right? Like
Yeah.
I would see you like just really be patient with folks, like even the one that you mentioned last week about the woman who reached out to you years later.
Oh, about like 2 years ago. Yeah. In that
Yeah,
other job. Yeah.
yeah.
One of my tenants.
And she
Yeah.
sent you such a really lovely note, but it's
Yeah.
because you pay so much close attention. You actually care. You actually care. And
I appreciate
so,
that, huh? Thank you.
anyway, I'm not here to talk about you.
Talk about your man, right?
I know, no. Let's talk about the
But
good agents.
so about the point. So with trust, so that's the number one thing, right? You have to have trust because there was a new law passed where this it wasn't always like this, but this is very recent. If you're going to be working with a buyer's
Yeah.
agent now, you do have to sign a buyer's contract. It's kind of like a seller's contract, but it's with buyers, where you're going to establish how long you're going to be working with this person. You're going to establish what their payment is going to be, like what you're going to pay them for their services, be it a flat fee or you're going to pay
Hmm.
them a percentage. And that's always, you could always negotiate that. But this is something you should know up front that if you're going to work with an agent in this day and age, you are going to have to sign that paperwork. It's required by law now. With that being said, if you're going to sign on with somebody to work with them for several months, it better be somebody that you could work with for several months. It needs to be
Yes.
somebody that you trust, you can have a conversation with, pretty much a friend. Like you need to connect with this person and you need to make sure that they have your back.
Yeah.
I mean, you're going to depend on them for everything when it
Yeah.
comes to this, home search. They're
Yeah.
going to take you out to places, they're going to be looking at your finances, and you don't want to be in a situation where you're with somebody that's pushy, 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 and just trying to
Hmm.
get you to spend your money so they could get a commission. You want to talk to somebody that has patience, somebody who actually listens to what you're looking for, somebody who's actually going to remind you of your why. Someone who's going to
Yeah.
remind you, no, 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 that's not on your must-have list. You have three things
Yeah.
that are must-have. You didn't say jacuzzi. We're not looking at this house. You know
Right.
what I mean? You need that person.
Yeah.
Empathy is important. Empathy is important because this person needs to understand what you're going through. As real estate agents, we do transactions all the time.
Hmm.
This is what we do every day, in and out. For us, it's nothing. It doesn't mean it's just part of the job. It's a very normal routine thing. For someone who's doing this for their first time, it's a much different perspective.
Yeah.
You can't be with an agent that's going to treat you like it's an everyday thing. You need
Yeah.
somebody that has to understand, listen, I understand this is your first time. You're going to have a lot of resistance, a lot of questions. So you need somebody that's going to understand that's going to have empathy for your situation, and that's going to be patient and walk you through the process. Not make
Yeah.
you feel less than or
Yeah.
even stupid because you're asking questions or you don't know, or make you feel bad because let's say it's time to put money on the table or something,
Hmm.
but now you're scared, you're
Yeah.
hesitant. You need somebody that's going to understand where you're coming from and
Yeah.
talk you through that. You don't want to deal with that agent that's going to throw their hands up and call you like the worst client ever. That's just not patience. That's
Yeah.
not empathy. You can't deal with that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
relational over
I
transactional,
like that.
right?
Relational over transactional. Yeah.
And the other thing too, it is, it's almost like you can vet them, right? So make sure that you have your list. Like this was our list, but make sure you have your list of what you're looking for in an agent because you don't have to settle for the first one that you meet, right?
Hmm.
You can actually like call a few and then like interview them, right?
Hmm.
Sometimes you can even ask them for like, hey, do you have any reviews or referrals? And I believe that's what we did with Ethan. Like, who can we
He
connect?
offered that.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
offered it. And
Yeah.
I was like,
Yeah.
oh, okay. And we
Hmm.
actually called them too.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so it's always good to like, um, do your due diligence and make sure
Yes.
that you have someone that you trust in your journey.
Yeah, yeah. And,
Oh,
and and a
oh,
good
sorry.
point. No, no, that's fine. So and a good point on that just reminded me as Even though this is your first time, understand that you're always in the driver's seat. Same thing with the
Yeah.
agent
Yeah.
and the lenders, they're
Yep.
coming to you. You're
Yep.
the customer. You don't have
Yep.
to sell yourself to them.
Yep. You don't have to say yes all the time.
You
You,
don't have to say yes. You
yeah.
say no. You be picky
Yep.
because you're putting the money up. You're paying all of these people.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's important that you have that confidence. Okay.
Mhm.
And you need that information. If you're going to work with somebody, they need to keep you informed so that you make informed decisions.
Yeah.
But always know that you're in the driver's seat, you're in control, it's your say. Don't let anybody push you or make you feel like you have to do
Yeah.
something. If you don't feel comfortable, do not feel bad about that.
Yeah.
If you don't feel comfortable going forward, you had to put money on the table, you get, those sweaty palms, you're anxious, listen to yourself,
Yep. Listen to your gut.
you know?
Yeah.
And again, at the end of the day, if you do have that good agent that has your back, he'll probably be able, or he or she will probably be able to talk you down and make you feel better and make you feel empowered to make those decisions when it
Right.
comes,
Give
it
you the
gets tough.
space like for you to pause to like really walk you
Yeah.
through that, right? Be a really good coach. So and so don't delay your dreams, right?
Don't.
If your dream is to have that condo, to have that townhome, to have that home, for me, it was like that backyard. I
Mhm.
wanted freedom. I just want to run and let the kids out,
Let
right?
them out.
Let them out. Like, don't delay your dreams. You deserve your dreams, and don't count yourself out. Like, lean into it, be curious. And so, take that first step in reaching out to your bank. And even if you're still not ready for that and you still have more questions, Damien again has 25 plus years in real estate. And if you're feeling stuck around like, your fears and taking, getting over that hump and really centering and honing in on your whys, I'm here for that, like
Yeah,
we
you
work
could connect with
together.
us. Yeah. Yeah.
We're a team, like I'm also a licensed real estate agent as well. I'm not practicing at the moment
Mhm.
yet,
Right.
but
You
Damien
better get in the
is
game.
yet. But we both love like just being transparent, sharing the information with other people because we want you to win. We want you to win. We want you to lean into and like claim your dream.
And,
It's
and we
there for
mean this
you.
sincerely because
Seriously.
we really were there. In the house that we're
Hmm.
in right now, where we're sitting, this is the house that our agent Efren
Hmm.
helped us buy in the
Hmm.
Hudson Valley.
Yeah.
And after that, it was off to the races. Matter of fact, 2 months ago, we just closed on our fourth
Yeah.
property. So
Yeah.
we also invest together.
Yeah.
So once we were able to open up that door and start learning about real estate and we got
It
that
made everything
confidence, it
easy.
made everything easier. So
Yeah.
now we have 5 homes now and we're
Yeah.
building our own portfolio and we manage our own tenants. I mean, this is
Yeah.
something we do full time.
Yeah.
And with that being said, free consultation. I never charge for that. If you want to shoot me a message and or shoot me an email and just ask me a question, Damien, could you, go a little bit more into this? Or I have
Hmm.
certain questions, or this is my credit score. I'm just curious.
Yeah.
If you want to send me a listing and ask me, how would this work? Do it. Send it to me. I'm open. I'm here. My phone
Yeah.
is always on me. It's literally right here. I'm waiting for your text. I'm waiting for your email. I answer all questions. I'm in the school of, there are two schools of people who think there are stupid questions and people who don't think there are stupid questions. I'm in that school. I don't think I don't think there's a such thing as a stupid question. If you don't know, you don't know. And the last thing I want is to let somebody feel resistance or incompetent or afraid to ask a question. You never
Yeah.
want someone to be afraid to ask a question because if you don't ask the questions, you either don't take the important steps you need to take or you miss out on an opportunity because you were afraid to ask. Just reach out to me, okay? And
Yep.
yeah.
And here's the information. Well, thank you so much. Any other last words, hon?
Just do it. Do it tonight. Send that email to your bank. Make
Yeah.
that appointment. Just call them. I don't care what your credit score is. I don't care what your job situation is. Let them tell you, okay? Let them tell you. Just call the bank. Let them know that this is what you want to do. They have your back. All right.
Yeah.
And you're always in control. That's the important thing I want to get across.
Yeah.
You're always in control. And call me if you need any
All
help.
right. Well, thank you so much, hon. It was
Thank
really
you.
great. It
That was
was
fun.
fun.
I hope you guys had a good time. All right.
Uh,
Who's this?
I don't know. Number, wait, hold up.